PhD intervention is about linkages and collaboration. It's about going beyond the borders of cardiology. It's about linking with multidisciplinaries. And I do believe that is right for me. Because heart disease is more or less linked with comorbidities like diabetes, neurologic problems. It's right for us to do this for our team. So on behalf of the Board of Directors of the Philippine Heart Association and our President, Dr. Raul, I would like to welcome you all, and let's have a very informative and fruitful lunch symposium on heart failure. And we thank the parties for their generosity on this lunch. Thank you very much.
Okay, so on behalf of my co-authors, my co-authors are Dr. Mendoza, Bermudez, Punsalan, Pestaño, Natividad, Chiu, and Macabeo. I'm going to present the results of the study entitled Epidemiologic Burden of Hospitalization for Stage F among adults aged 19 or above in the Philippines. This was published 2 months ago in Heart Asia, a member of the BNJ group of publications. This study was funded by Novartis, Philippines. However, they did not interfere in any part of the development of the paper. Okay. Previous studies on CHF in the Philippines include at least 2. This is the Dear Heart study conducted in 2005 and published in 2007. And this involved 6 hospitals in certain urban centers of the country. In the Adhere Asia Pacific study, they included 722 Filipino patients, which comprise 7% of the study population. However, there's no nationwide data available on the prevalence of hospitalization for CHF in the entire country. Fieldwork currently contains the most comprehensive database, as we all know, regarding hospitalization claims in the country. As of December 2014, 27% of the projected population is either a member or a beneficiary of it. Okay, so this study determined the following. The prevalence of hospitalization due to CHF in the entire country and individually in the 17 regions in 2014, the demographic profile of these patients, etiology and type of CHF, as well as comorbidities, duration of hospitalization, and overall in-hospital mortality rate. Okay, we obtain our data from the anonymized records from PhilHealth database from January 1 to December 31, 2014. This is the healthcare data from 87% of 99.6 million Filipinos. This is about more than 67 million Filipinos. So we use the ICD-10 codes of WHO. As I mentioned earlier, we refer to the 17 regions as of December 31 because by May 2015, we already have 18 regions. Okay, we had quantitative as well as qualitative data. Okay, so for 2014, there were more than 2,673,546 medical claims. And out of this, there were a total of 44,046 claims for heart failure, or 1.6%, or 16 per 1,000 medical claim. So, in terms of the regions, those with the highest claim for heart failure came from Region 4A or Calabarzon. This is Cavite, Laguna, Batangas, Quezon, and Rizal. 13.5% of the population came from there, whereas 10.7% came from the National Capital Region, or 4,730. Okay, and 10.3% came from Region 3 or Central Luzon. This is the age distribution. The mean age was 52.6 plus and minus 15.1. More or less, half are females and half are males. So, the age group 40 to 59, this is where most of the patients came from. In terms of associated conditions or possible etiologies, it is disheartening to note, look, we had 44,000 patients, however, only 9,000 or about 10,000 had entries in terms of possible etiology, so 22.7%, and among this, about 87% had hypertension, 7.5% had RHD, and CAD 3.5%. So other associated conditions were pneumonia, arrhythmias, diabetes mellitus, COPD, CKD, dyslipidemia, and asthma. Okay, this is another disheartening result. Look at the data again. Again, we had 44,000 claims. Okay, 96% of this did not specify the type of heart failure. Only about 3.6 specify that the heart failure is of left ventricular failure nature. In terms of length of hospitalization, the median was 4 days, quartile 1 was 3, and quartile 3 was 7. If you ask me about the average or the mean, it was 6 days. And the mean mortality rate was 8.2 plus and minus 2.45 days. In terms of the region for in-hospital mortality rate, the highest in-hospital mortality rate was seen in Region 13 or the Caraga region, followed by Region 11 or Davao region with 12.1%. The Western Visayas had 11.6%, and the lowest was seen in Region 2 or the Cagayan Valley. If you are interested for the National Capital Region, it was 7.7%. So, we reported a prevalence of 1.6% for hospitalization. In comparison to several countries, this is similar to several Western countries, China, Japan, and Australia. However, if we look at Malaysia, their prevalence was 6.7, and Singapore has a 4.5% prevalence rate. Is this a real true difference, or there's just a difference in the reporting? We don't know. The present study, the mean age was 52.6. If you look at the previous studies, in the Adhere Asia Pacific, if you look at the Philippine population, it was 54. For the Dear Heart Registry conducted in 2005, the mean age was 60. So this is a relatively older population compared to the present population. In terms of sex, the present study had both sexes at almost similar age and presentation. With regards to mortality rate, this mortality rate is lower compared to the Dear Heart Registry. However, it is much higher than the Adhere Asia Pacific. The mean for all sites was 4.8%. And in some centers in the US, their in-hospital mortality rate was low at 3%. The one-year mortality rate was not part of the study, but I included it here because last month there was a new study that came out. It was published. And this is the International Congestive Heart Failure Study, whereby Philippines together with Malaysia was lumped as the Southeast Asian region part. It had a one-year mortality rate of 15%, whereas China, who had 992 patients, they were considered as one region for analysis, they had 7.3%. India had the highest mortality rate of 23%, South America had 9.1%, and Middle East at 9.4%. So in conclusions, in 2014, for every 1,000 Filipinos admitted due to a medical condition, 16 were due to heart failure. The age of presentation, this was younger compared to previous local data, but similar to latest international data. There was no age predilection, and hypertension is possibly the most common etiology, but we cannot really be sure about this, since as I mentioned earlier, only about 20% had completed this data in the medical claims form. All the rest had none. In terms of length of hospital stay, this was shorter compared to some Western and Asia Pacific countries, but mortality rate was still relatively high. Okay, there were several limitations, so we had to go through these problems. Some of the final diagnosis in the field health form might not be always present, or we have to admit there might be incomplete diagnosis. We had to search for the ICD-10 diagnosis in terms of etiology, type, and comorbidities. And as physicians, I think this is our problem. Some may not be completing the field health data form as accurately and as completely as possible. In terms of field health coverage policies that might have affected the data, as of now, only 2 diseases are covered. Okay, if you write the first diagnosis, that's considered 100% reimbursement in terms of their case rate payments. The second diagnosis is given a 50% case rate package. All the rest, whether you write them or not, there's no coverage anymore. And there's a policy whereby patients who get readmitted within the 90-day period for the same disease condition will not be covered. So we tried to look into the readmission rates for this year, and believe us, we did not find any readmission rate, although we can't believe this data. Maybe it's related to its limitations. Okay, so we had a hard time even publishing this data. We had to argue with the editor that we really can't get those data, or we really did not find any readmission rates, which is not true. And there might be some human error during encoding as of now. Who encodes it in your hospitals? It's the clerk. The doctor writes the diagnosis, and the clerk tries to find the ICD-10 codes. So what are the key messages for this study? What is already known about the subject? We know that there's scarcity of data. There's scarcity in terms of local data. In this study, the prevalence really for hospitalization as well as the duration of hospitalization and mortality rates. Here, there are two things that we'd like to give in terms of implications, either of clinical practice and health policy. We want change in our government, but I think change should start from us clinicians in terms of filling out our health data boards. We have to be as accurate and complete as possible. And then we can write to our policy makers in terms of those limiting health policies. As I mentioned earlier, the 90-day non-coverage policy, as well as the 2 disease condition policy, is limiting getting the correct data. So I think change should come both from the government, from the health policy makers, as well as from us. So with that message, thank you.
Dr. Mendoza for that interesting paper. That'll be your moderator for this afternoon. And before I introduce the guest speaker and the panelists, we have a little game. You saw the website earlier posted, and there are some questions that we will be asking you, and you will be participating in this survey. And you will use your smartphones this time to key in your answers, and we'll have the results shown immediately. Okay, so this is the connect to www.fodder.com/page. Okay, and we'll be directed to how to answer, participate in this poll. Okay, can we have the first question? Okay, so patients with heart failure, which so the following goes to be the highest priority. And then you key in your answer. Okay, Jordi answered letter B. And the next question. How frequent do you titrate heart failure medications among our patients? Okay, so once every 2 weeks, once a month. Next question. Going fast with this survey, the highest percentage of sudden cardiac death occurs in patients with NYHA class. And majority answered class 4. Indian blood. Next. And what are your achieved medication daily doses for ACV? This time, now. milligram in Aliprid. Okay, next question. And what are your achieved medication daily doses in milligram per beta blocker? Like metformin. Milligram. Okay, next. Do you still have other questions? Okay. This is the last one. What are your greatest limitations to become pregnant? The low blood pressure, symptomatic that is, was the answer. 64%. Okay, so this is just a survey that probably will be discussed this afternoon. And we have two panelists, locally prominent cardiologists. Dr. Sipulo, Tony, you know him very well, the head of the Department of Preventive Cardiology at St. Luke's, past president of BSA, past director of the St. Luke's ASEAN College of Cardiology, and the national leader of the biotype trial in our country. And the second panelist is Dr. Kurt Sison, Vice President of the BSA, our incoming President, Chair of the Committee on Councils and Chapters of the BSA, the Head of the Cardiology Section of Medical Center Netherlands. It's the second panelist. And I'd like to introduce our guest speaker, and you've heard him speak before. He's a professor of medical cardiology at the Institute of Cardiovascular and Medical Services at the University of Glasgow, and the consultant, the Western Infirmary, Glasgow. Past president of the Heart Failure Association of the ESC, and the principal investigator and member of the EXICOM, many clinical trials in heart failure, and a member of several third boards. Prominent journalists. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Professor John McLaren.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming to listen to me. Some of you come to listen to me again. This time I'm going to talk about something a little bit different. I'm going to try and be provocative, and I'm going to try and suggest to you that sometimes we are not our patient's best friend, but sometimes we are our patient's worst enemy. So I'll try and explain this as I go through my presentation. So until very recently, I would say this figure summarizes what we can do for our patients with heart failure. It summarizes really the evidence-based treatment of heart failure. And until recently, for almost everybody with heart failure with reduced ejection fraction, that should be these three drugs: an ACE inhibitor or an ARB, a beta blocker, and then a receptor antagonist. For some patients, we use certain types of devices. For some patients, we also use other drugs and interventions. And then for the tiny minority of patients, of course, we think about transplantation and left ventricular assist devices. And this figure summarizes about 30 years of progress in research and clinical trials and in accumulation of evidence. And as a result, I think a lot of doctors who look after patients with heart failure say, well, clearly we've done very well with all of these trials, with all of these treatments. Surely we have done enough. surely we've got enough drugs, surely we've got enough devices. And I'm going to try and persuade you that that's not true, that's the wrong way to think, and we should actually be thinking we need to do more. Now, why am I saying that? Well, here's a trial that I'm very proud of that we did a few years ago, published in 2011, and this was a trial in patients, all of whom were in NYHA class 2, all of whom had mild symptoms. They had a low ejection fraction. Almost everybody was treated with a beta blocker. Everybody was treated with an ACE inhibitor or angiotensin receptor blocker. And what we did in this trial was we added iminomab and corticoid receptor antagonists, fluorouracil, on top of an ACE inhibitor or beta blocker in patients with mild symptoms. Because at that time we didn't have evidence that MRAs were beneficial in patients with mild symptoms. And this trial clearly shows that adding an MRA to an ACE inhibitor and beta blocker, even in patients with mild symptoms, was beneficial. But you can see, if you look at the Imperno group, that despite treatment with those 3 life-saving drugs, patients still did not do well. And within just about 3 years of follow-up, about 25% of patients on these 3 key drugs still suffered a major adverse cardiovascular event. In this case, the endpoint was the composite of cardiovascular death or heart failure transplantation. So despite the best available therapy, even in patients with mild symptoms, a lot of them continue to do badly. That's why we need to do more. But despite that, this is what I hear quite often. I have to say, sometimes I might even have thought these things myself. I'm not sure what. So I don't know if you've ever heard any of your friends or colleagues at work say this, but we hear people say, my patient's stable. Well, I'm going to try and tell you that that's a myth, that there's no such thing as a stable patient with heart failure. We hear doctors say, why should I change anything? Can I not wait and see how the patient does, and I'll only do something if they get worse? I often hear doctors say, my patient's got mild heart failure. I'm going to try and suggest to you that we should never, ever, ever let anybody use that expression again, and that if you hear somebody say that, you should stop them and correct them. I often hear doctors say, well, it's really inconvenient for my patient to have to change their treatment. And what I really wonder is the doctor actually saying it's inconvenient for me to think about changing the treatment because it might mean more work for me. So let's look at all of these things. But collectively what I think these attitudes, these thoughts, these ideas that doctors have creates what I would call clinical inertia. Now, inertia is maybe a word that isn't used that commonly. This is the dictionary definition, but inertia means essentially the tendency to do nothing, to leave things unchanged. And I think all of those thoughts, all of those things that you hear your colleagues say, create the situation of clinical inertia. And what I want to suggest to you as I develop this talk, that clinical inertia, our thought processes, are a major threat to our patients. So can I convince you that that's true? Well, let's start with the first myth. Let's start with the myth of clinical stability. So this statement, my patient's got stable heart failure. And I'm going to suggest to you that if we think that way, we're being complacent, and that our patients deserve better from us than taking that attitude. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Paradigm Heart Failure study to show show you that the idea of stability is a myth. So this isn't we talk about paradigm in particular, it's using the paradigm data to show you that the idea of stability is a myth. So let's look at the patients in paradigm. So they were relatively young patients, pretty typical of the age spectrum that we've just seen in the last presentation. They were predominantly in NYJ class 2, so 70% of these patients had mild symptoms, and they were pretty well treated. More than 90% were on a beta blocker. Everybody was getting a RAS blocker, and I'll show you more about that in just a moment. And over half of the patients were getting a mineralocorticoid receptor antagonist. So these were relatively young patients with mild symptoms who were very well treated. And I said to you that they were all getting a RAS blocker. The patients who were randomized to enalapril, so let's look at the control group in this trial. Patients getting conventional treatment, a conventional RAS blocker. These patients with paradigm heart failure were getting the highest dose of enalapril ever used in any clinical trial. And by the way, please remember that enalapril is the only ACE inhibitor that's been shown to reduce mortality in a chronic heart failure trial. So these were young people, mild symptoms, well treated, and in the enalapril group, getting the highest dose of enalapril ever used in this trial. Well, what happens to these patients? Well, you know that some of them died, you know that some of them got admitted to hospital with worsening heart failure, because that's what we always look at when we do our clinical trials. But in paradigm heart failure, we collected some other information. So each visit during follow-up, we also collected information about whether or not patients attended an emergency department and were discharged without being admitted to hospital. And we also looked at something else that I don't think any other large trial has ever looked at before, and that was whether or not, since the last visit, doctors had intensified the patient's background medical treatment. So added a new drug for heart failure, increased the dose of diuretic. That's what was meant by intensification of medical treatment. And you can see that actually around, not far off, 20% of patients had these additional manifestations of worsening of their heart failure. Now, why am I highlighting these findings? Because we do these things all the time. You almost change people's treatment when you see them in an outpatient clinic. Often they're not thinking about it. They're a bit more breathless, or they've got a bit more edema, and you increase the dose of diuretic. You almost do that without thinking about it. Well, this is why I'm highlighting it, because if you look at this slide, if you look at the far right of the slide as you look at it, you can see mortality in patients who were admitted to hospital during the trial with worsening heart failure. If you were admitted to hospital with worsening heart failure, that was bad news. You had a 37% chance of dying during the median following this trial of 27 months. But we know that. Many other studies have told us that if you get admitted to hospital with worsening heart failure, that is a bad prognostic sign. But look at the two bars in the middle. These are patients who went to the emergency department and were sent home, or, and the most important bar is the second one from the left as you look at the slide, patients who in the ambulatory care setting, in the outpatient setting, had intensification of their medical treatment. Maybe no more than just an increase in their dose of diuretic. These patients did nearly as badly. They had more than a 30% mortality during the remainder of follow-up in the paradigm heart failure trial. And the patients who had none of these manifestations of worsening, as you can see, only had a 14% mortality. So it's a lot of people who are manifesting worsening of heart failure in multiple different ways, and any of those manifestations of worsening identify patients with a bad prognosis. So every time you see a patient in the clinic and you have to add more treatment or intensify the treatment because you're not happy with their clinical status, you have identified a patient who has a very poor prognosis. And if you put all of these things together, if you look at these young people with mild symptoms who are very well treated in the enalapril group, so this is the conventional treatment group, if you look at that expanded composite endpoint where it's not just cardiovascular death or heart failure hospitalization, perhaps the primary endpoint in paradigm as it is in most heart failure trials today, but if you add in attendance at the emergency department, if you add in the need for intensification of heart failure treatment, you can see that after about 3 or 3.5 years of follow-up, almost 40% of these patients have had some manifestation of worsening. That is not stability. These patients are not stable, even though you may say they're in NYHN class 2, and I might say they've got mild symptoms. They clearly are not stable. They clearly have a progressive disease. And despite the best available conventional treatment, these patients are progressing at a rapid rate. In fact, they're progressing at a rate of about 11% per year for one of these manifestations of worsening. And we can change that. We can lower this progressive worsening of heart failure over time if we switch these patients from conventional treatment with an ACE inhibitor or an angiotensin receptor blocker to a combination of a RAS blocker and an FRAS inhibitor, and in this case, sacubitril valsartan. And each of these different manifestations of worsening was reduced in the sacubitril valsartan group compared to the alcohol group, whether that was hospital admission, whether it was emergency department attendance, whether it was intensification of other medical treatment. All of these manifestations of worsening were reduced by sacubitril valsartan. So, clinical stability is a myth. These patients, even with mild symptoms, even very well treated, show a very high rate of progression each year, and cumulatively over a relatively short period of time, many of them have demonstrated some manifestation of worsening. At least that's our perspective. That's what doctors look at. We look at admission to hospital, we talk about mortality, but what about other things? What about other outcomes? And I'm not going to look at it from the patient perspective. So I've discussed all of these things that matter if you work in a hospital. But what happens if you're a patient with heart failure? Well, we asked our patients in paradigm heart failure, we asked our patients how their disease affected them. And we did that using the Kansas City Cardiomyopathy Questionnaire. This is a very well studied, frequently used, health-related quality of life instrument specific for heart failure. There are 23 questions that the patient completes, covering 5 different domains. What this questionnaire does is it finds out how heart failure affects the patient's ability to lead a normal life. What symptoms they have, what they can do, what they can't do, how heart failure interferes with their ability to have social interactions, to do ordinary everyday tasks. And we know from many previous studies using this questionnaire that a 5-point change is a clinically important change. That 5-point change has been associated with all sorts of things, including a change in 6-minute walk distance, a change in oxygen consumption on the treadmill. A 5-point change is an important change. And a 5-point reduction in KCCQ score corresponds to a clinically important deterioration in the patient's quality of life. So we pre-specified in our heart failure that we would look at ACC score after 8 months of follow-up. Now, lots of people said, why 8 months? That seems a very strange time to make a measurement. Well, our follow-up visits were every 4 months, so this was 2 follow-up visits. We didn't want to leave it too long because people died in heart failure trials, and then it becomes very difficult to assess quality of life instrument because you're only looking at survivors. So we pre-specified 8 months because we wanted a reasonable length of time after randomization in order to see whether the treatment was having an effect, but not too long so that we didn't lose lots of patients during mortality. So look at the 8-month time point and look at the black bar. The black bar is the analytical group, the conventional treatment group. And what you see here is the proportional percentage of patients in the conventional therapy group reporting a 5 or greater point decrease in their KCCQ score. In other words, the proportion of patients reporting a clinically important deterioration in their quality of life. And you'll see that that proportion is 35%. 35% in 8 months. So that's not me telling you what these patients were reporting, that's what these patients are reporting. And I don't think, I certainly am guilty of never having recognised just how rapidly patients' health-related quality of life deteriorates over time in heart failure. And remember, these were very well treated patients with mild symptoms. You can see that it was an even higher proportion at 12 months and 24 months. And you can also see that patients who got sacubitril valsartan are significantly less likely to show a deterioration in their health-related quality of life. In fact, the number needed to treat in 8 months to stop one patient having a clinically important deterioration of quality of life is 23. Very similar to the number needed to treat to prevent one patient having a primary endpoint. So clearly these are not stable patients, and that's true whether you look at the things that we usually measure in clinical trials or whether you look at what the patients are reporting to us if we give them the opportunity to do that. So I would like to suggest to you that clinical stability is a myth. There's no such thing as a stable patient. So other times I hear doctors say, well, why do I need to change anything? Why do I need to do that? Why don't I wait to see whether or not my patient gets worse? They seem to be okay on their ACE inhibitor or their ARB, even though they clearly aren't. They say, well, I'll just wait to see whether they deteriorate, and if they deteriorate, then I'll change them, then I'll think about making them change. Well, again, I would suggest to you that that is too late. And the reason that's too late is shown on this slide, because again, this is the analytical group, the conventional therapy group of heart failure. And this slide shows you the 2 major modes of death in patients with heart failure, which you know are sudden death and death from progressive heart failure. Well, the one question I thought was not answered correctly earlier was about the major mode of death in patients with mild symptoms. So it's been known for a long time that patients with mild symptoms are more likely to die suddenly. Patients with severe symptoms are more likely to die from progressive pump failure. We've known that from many previous studies, and it's very clearly shown here in paradigm heart failure. You can see that the incidence of sudden death is more common than the incidence of death from worsening heart failure. So what does that mean? Well, that means that if you take the attitude that I will just wait to see how my patient does before I change their treatment to a better treatment, if you decide that you wait to see if their symptoms get worse before you decide to change the treatment, then for a lot of those patients, I'm afraid, you're not going to see them again because they're going to be dead by the time their next visit is scheduled. And as you can see here, 1/3 of the first events of all of those manifestations of worsening that occurred in the paradigm heart failure trial, 1/3 of those events were fatal, and in the majority of cases, those deaths were due to sudden, presumed arrhythmic death. So these patients are not stable, many of them progress. One of the common manifestations of progression is death, and the majority of those deaths are sudden. And if you wait, then those patients who die suddenly are never going to have the chance to tell you that they've been getting worse. And again, you can reduce both of those modes of death. You can reduce both of those risks. Risk of sudden death, risk of death from progressive pump failure, if you switch patients from an ACE inhibitor or an ARB to a combination of an epilystin inhibitor and an ARB. In other words, if you switch the patients to sacubitril valsartan. So again, I hope this will help convince you that clinical stability is definitely a myth. And if we take that attitude, unfortunately many of our patients will never get the opportunity to get the treatment switched to the better treatment. And the other thing I said I would talk about, I think again is a myth, and in fact it upsets me when I hear people use this terminology, is the idea that there's something called mild heart failure, and that's simply not the case. So again, most patients in paradigm heart failure had mild symptoms, but mild symptoms are not the same as mild heart failure, because there is no such thing as mild heart failure. Yes, NYHA class 2 might be that patients don't tell you that they get very breathless from doing things, but actually if you look at risk in these patients, some of them are very high risk, and we did that in the paradigm heart failure patients. We used this risk calculator that we developed many years ago. And what this risk calculator does is it highlights that risk is a multivariable construct. It's not about symptoms, it's not about ejection fraction, it's about all of these things. And if you look at the paradigm heart failure patients, you can see that they had a broad range of magic risk scores. The lowest score, I think, was 4, and the highest score was 40. And there's a bell-shaped curve. There was a normal distribution of risk scores. The people to the right of this distribution were the people at highest risk. And here are those patients now divided into 5 equal groups, so quintiles of risk score. And you can see, if you look over to the right of the figure, the top 1/5, if you look at the ineligible group, that's the black bar, the conventional treatment group. If you look at that upper 1/5 of the risk scores, these patients had an almost 20% annual risk for cardiovascular death or heart failure hospitalization. 20%. The next figure shows you the same for all-cause mortality. That upper 1/5, the 20% with the highest risk scores, had an almost 16% annual risk of death. But they had mild symptoms. Most of them were in NYHA class 2, but they did not have mild disease. Many of them were at extremely high risk of death. And again, as you can see, the blue bars are sacubitril valsartan, treated patients. And in every one of those quintile of risk scores, you can see that risk was lower in the patients who got sacubitril valsartan than in the patients who got alcohol. So there's no such thing as mild heart failure. Our friends in cancer and oncology would never talk about mild breast cancer or mild lung cancer, but we should never let our colleagues talk about mild heart failure because it doesn't exist. And this is a real issue in this part of the world. We saw some mortality data in the last presentation. Here are the mortality data from paradigm heart failure by region of the world. And in fact, the region with the second highest mortality risk in paradigm heart failure was this region of the world, the Asia Pacific region. The only region with a higher mortality rate was Latin America. And if you look at the effect of cerebral valsalgia in the different regions of the world, it was absolutely consistent. There was a consistent benefit of cerebral valsalgia in all the geographic regions that we looked at. So the last thing is, of course, we sometimes hear our colleagues say that it's inconvenient for the patient to change treatment. I don't want to put my patients through all that hassle. Well, I think if you have a discussion with the patient and you explain to them how you want to change the treatment, in my experience, very, very few patients don't want to change treatment if the treatment that you want to give them is going to make them feel better, make it less likely they're going to be admitted to hospital, and make it less likely that they're going to die. And that's exactly what I say to my patients, and truthfully, I can't think of a single patient who said no, they'd rather stick with their conventional treatment. And we are talking here about switching, we're not talking about adding a new drug, it's not more tablets, it's switching them to a more effective alternative. So, do we need to do anything more? That was the question that I posed to you when I started. I think, yes, we do. And if we don't, our patients will suffer. I think if we don't, we're being complacent. And we're putting our patients at risk. And I think our patients deserve better of us. And I think that's true for future drug development as well. I mean, I'm not stopping doing trials. I'm not stopping trying to find more effective treatments, but we've got a more effective treatment than we had, and we should be giving that to our patients because they deserve it. And this is the evidence, and I'm not going to go through that in detail, but what I do want to point out is that this isn't really something that we should probably be sitting around thinking about, debating too much. Because as you can see here, within just 30 days of randomization in paradigm heart failure, there was a statistically significant benefit of cerebral valsalgia over enalapril. So this is my last slide. Do we need to do something? Well, I said yes, we do. And I would say that that last slide that I've showed you suggests the sooner you act, the sooner we act, the better that will be for our patients. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor McMurray. I'd like to invite you to occupy the people, and also Dr. Sigula and Dr. Chisa as our panelists. And we will call first Dr. Sigula to react to the lecture of Professor McMurray, especially the professor emphasized clinical inertia, the clinician's experience, and also
Thank you very much for that lecture, Professor. If I say these things, it will reveal my age, because I remember that it was sold and saved when I was 10 years in practice, when it was publicized. It's been 26 years since ago, but the reality dictates that there is still clinical inertia in using your ACE inhibitors, when in fact we know that it can prevent progression and there are beneficial effects in terms of reducing cardiovascular morbidity and mortality. And this is true with beta blockers. Most of us here, you and I, probably have not really updated our ACE, AR-based beta blockers, the so-called recommendations. And I feel that this experience is not just for the Philippines, I think it's worldwide. Okay. Now, I think physicians should realize, and you have outlined it, that there's no such thing as stability in heart failure. And it is an insidious progression of symptoms and signs and deterioration of cardiac function. And you did say it right, that there's no such thing as mild heart failure. If I may follow the words of Dr. Morales, he said, there's no such thing as mild pregnancy. Of course, when you're pregnant, it will progress to delivery, okay? So in short, also in heart failure, if you are basically heart failure, it will progress to progressive deterioration. Okay? So the question is, how can we really impart to our colleagues, to our patients, to continue titrating the dosages? Because that is really the crux of the matter. We have failed with ACE and beta blockers. Maybe this time we should do better. Now, I was thinking that probably we should highlight the big advantage that Paradigm HF has shown with sacubitril and valsartan. For the first time, I would say that a compound did show superiority over the time-honored ACE inhibitor, not only by, as mentioned, 20% risk reduction. Remember that this is an active control trial. It was being pitted against standard of care, which we know, you and I know, that 80% risk reduction can be attributed to an ACE inhibitor. But of course, your sacubitril valsartan did another 20%. So in reality, it's more than 80%. It's close to 40% risk reduction in cardiovascular events. That I feel should be a very important point. You should always think when you prescribe it to our patients. Now, one of the greatest impediment to uptitration are thrings to watch out for. Hypertension, number one, hyperkalemia, and azotemia. If you look at the data in Paradigm, hyperkalemia and azotemia are just the same, really. Comparing to sacubitril and valsartan versus the ACE inhibitor. But blood pressure was a little lower in the sacubitril valsartan. Now, there are things we to watch out for. For example, if these patients do develop hypotension, then look into the volume, the status of the patient, look into the so-called drugs that are being taken by the patient, like your other vasoconstrictors, calcium blockers, and diuretics. And more than enough, we are able to be at par with international experience. In the Paradigm HF, the Philippine experience was very good. In Asia Pacific, we had 1,500 patients. Okay? And there were 9 countries in Asia Pacific. The biggest recruiter was China with 500 patients. Next was India with about 500 patients. And the Philippines was third out of the 9 countries with 250 patients. So how many of these patients were uptitrated to 200 milligrams 2 times a day, which we call the dose level 3. 93% of our patients tolerated dose level 3, one of the highest in the world. So we are shuttling a bit that Asians, Filipinos with a small BMI cannot be uptitrated. We were able to uptitrate. Even in my practice right now, I'm able to uptitrate patients to the so-called dose level 3, this level. Now, my last point would be, I feel that you and I, it's our responsibility. It behooves to each clinician that we should offer this kind of treatment to our patient. Offer them the best of care. Give them the option. Would you want to remain on the same medication? And would you want to try this medication? So I think it's our responsibility.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sibila. Dr. Singson, would you like to comment on the stable heart failure patient? Do you have such as stable heart failure?
Thank you. Yeah, I got a lot of stable heart failure for a while, but eventually the rest of them know me. My patients, they are known. So I believe Professor Moreno, there's no such thing. So it can be a temporary situation, like a remission. If you have leukemia or chronic diseases. The heart failure, as you have explained before, is even more fatal than cancer. So I just have some list here, items here. Is inertia universal, or is it in certain countries only where you observe inertia?
No, inertia is universal. I think it's a human instinct. My wife thinks I suffer from inertia in lots of things that I haven't done at home. So I think inertia is a human characteristic.
Yeah, my wife doesn't. By the way, in the Philippines, I have a choice between inertia and conservatism. In all types of cardiovascular therapeutics in the Philippines, the behavior of Filipinos, probably we have some similarity with the Japanese. We start with little doses of pain. You know, in Japan, Candesartan is available at 4 milligrams. And here we got 16 milligrams. So maybe we can do some sort of a study. Are the Filipinos treating heart failure conservative, or they really have inertia? Because when they see a patient with moderate to severe heart failure, blood pressure 90 over 60, they even would turn back from adding sacubitril because they are afraid of hypotension and other adverse effects of this hemodynamic instability. So they would like to try perhaps half a tablet twice a day. So these are the behavior of Filipino patients and Filipino doctors as well, off-label. I just wonder if you are venturing to do HFpEF.
So we have a HFpEF trial, and Antonio's helped us with that. We have a trial called Paragon Heart Failure, where we enrolled more than 4,800 patients, including in the Philippines. And that trial is just a follow-up, so we will get an answer in the next 2 years or so.
Professor, there's a question. For a patient who remains asymptomatic, should I consider shifting to iron instead of giving iron medication? Inertia question.
So of course I don't know the answer to that because we didn't really study asymptomatic patients. Though I think there are relatively few patients, if you take a careful history, who are completely asymptomatic. So I think this is probably not a very common patient. But we don't know. We simply don't know. I mean, the extrapolation of the evidence would be probably, it makes sense if they continue to have a low ejection fraction. It probably makes sense in the same way that we found, for example, that ACE inhibitors were beneficial in the SOLVE prevention trial compared to the SOLVE treatment trial. So it's an extrapolation, it's not evidence-based. It makes pathophysiological sense, but we simply haven't studied those patients.
Okay, if you have any questions. Yeah, there's another one about the piece of the paradigm. Do you think are the reasons why mortality rates are higher in this part of the region?
I mean, again, I'd have to speculate. They are surprising in the sense that the patients were much younger in this part of the region in general. And I suppose one thing you would have to wonder about is use of other medications and the dose of those medications. So, for example, there is pretty good evidence that beta blockers show a dose response and that you get greater benefit with higher doses. And maybe people are being underdosed in this part of the world, I don't know. But there is also variation between countries in this region. So, for example, Japan has an incredibly low mortality, and India, which is really a very different country, obviously, has a very high mortality. And when you delve into it further, then you begin to see that there are many cultural differences. So, for example, in India, patients often don't get admitted to hospital. So if they get worse, they may die at home as opposed to getting admitted to hospital. And I don't know if that happens in other parts of the Asia-Pacific region or maybe within different parts of countries in this region of the world. So it's very difficult to tease out these geographical differences.
Thank you. In the interest of time, I'm sure you have a lot of questions, but you can approach Professor McMurray or any of our panelists. And I'd like to thank Professor McMurray for giving us a very interesting lecture and very insightful management. And our two distinguished panelists, Dr. Sibulo and Dr. Season. So thank you very much for attending this last symposium.
In our last symposium, I'd like to thank again founding doctors, of course, Dr. Bernadette Kumana Mendoza, thank you, Dr. Adolfo Cavilosa, Dr. Antonio Silver Jr., Dr. George Season, and to our speaker, Professor John McMurray. Thank you very much.